Cyberpunk 2077. Night City isn't built for dreamers. It's a graveyard for them. A place where skyscrapers slice through toxic skies and neon lights can't hide the rot underneath. You play as V, a hustler clawing for a shot at something bigger. But the city has other plans. After a job goes sideways, you wake up with more than scars. You've got a prototype chip in your head, and it's not just tech. It's a ticking time bomb. Embedded deep inside is the mind of Johnny Silverhand, a rebellious rock legend who died fighting the machine he now haunts. As Johnny's memories start bleeding into yours, reality fractures. Your past, your future, even your soul. Nothing stays untouched. Corrupt corporations want the chip. Ruthless gangs want your head. And every alleyway, every backroom deal could be your last. With quick hacks that can fry enemy implants and weapons that turn bodies to scrap, you carve your way through a city that chews up the bold and buries the reckless. But surviving here isn't just about firepower, it's about picking your battles, making uneasy allies, and deciding how much of yourself you're willing to lose to stay alive. In Night City, immortality isn't a blessing. It's a curse you fight for, one bloody step at a time. Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters isn't just bustin'. It's a war against the dead fought with a proton pack and a prayer. In this New York, the city hums with invisible horrors. Restless spirits slither through subway tunnels, abandoned buildings breathe, and shadows flicker with things not meant to be seen. At the center of it all are the Ghostbusters, misfit scientists turned last resort heroes. Dr. Peter Venkman, all sarcasm and charm, masks real courage under his smirk. Dr. Ray Stantz, the true believer, treats every ghost like a wonder and a nightmare. Dr. Egon Spengler, the cold genius, builds the tech that keeps them alive. And Winston Zeddemore, the everyman, joins not for the science, but because someone's got to keep the world standing. Together, they run a busted-up firehouse headquarters, chasing the supernatural with untested gadgets and half a business plan. But the stakes are bigger than trapping a few roadie ghosts. When ancient gods awaken and the skies split open, New York teeters on the edge of apocalyptic meltdown. The team's grit holds the line, dodging spectral tantrums, laughing at the absurd, and keeping the city from crumbling under a tide of the undead that just won't quit. The humor's dark. Caught one ghost? Congrats! Now you've pissed off 100. Battling slime, specters, and their own mistakes, the Ghostbusters aren't in it for the glory. They fight because no one else can or will. World War Z? World War Z isn't an outbreak. It's a collapse, a flood of hunger and horror that smashes through everything we once called civilization. Skyscrapers crumble into graves. Streets stew with fire, ash, and the stench of bodies left where they fell. Above it all, the Zeeks, relentless, howling, come in endless clawing waves. They don't limp, they don't hesitate. They sprint, pile, and crush. A swarm so fierce they tear down cities faster than bombs ever could. You're no savior, just a stubborn heartbeat with a battered rifle and too many regrets. Beside you, a handful of worn-out fighters, scavengers, soldiers, strays, dig in, trading jokes so dark they could make a corpse laugh just to keep the panic at bay. Clear one block? Another tide surges from the alleys, faster, hungrier, louder. Barricades buckle, bullets run dry, and still, you fight, hands raw, vision blurred, pulse hammering like a war drum. Every step is a prayer whispered between gunshots. Every safe house is a rumor you chase through smoke and screams. Hope isn't a strategy here. It's a flicker you guard like a dying flame. In World War Z, you don't survive because you're strong. You survive because you're too damn stubborn to lie down. The world's already lost. All you have left is the will to spit in death's face and keep moving. Dracula, Castlevania. In Castlevania, Dracula is no mindless monster. He's a wounded king, a husband turned executioner, dragging the world into darkness after humanity burned his wife, Lisa, for daring to heal with knowledge beyond their fear. Now, Wallachia rots. Villages are empty husks, forests drip with mist and blood, and each night the earth shudders under the march of demons. Dracula's castle, a living monument to his rage, shifts across the land like a ghost, daring anyone to challenge his throne. But hope clings to life in the unlikeliest of souls. Trevor Belmont, the last of a disgraced line of hunters, drinks through his anger but can't outrun his duty. Sypha Belnades, a speaker mage, carries the weight of generations' worth of lost wisdom, her magic burning as fiercely as her will. And then there's Alucard, Dracula's own son, torn by the unbearable truth that to save the world, he must destroy his father. This is not a simple war between good and evil. It's a tragedy written in blood and fire, where love curdles into hate, and the greatest battles are fought in the heart before the sword is ever drawn. In Castlevania, salvation isn't promised. Sometimes the best you can hope for is to hold back the darkness a little longer. Project Moon. Project Moon doesn't ask if you're ready. It pulls you under. Beneath endless gray ceilings, a labyrinth of glass and steel hides the price of ambition. Here, nightmares aren't accidents. They're crafted, nurtured, studied. Every shadow flickers with something not quite human. This is the world of Lobotomy Corporation and beyond, a place where the mind fractures before the body does. Angela was built to guide, but bitterness curdled her purpose long ago. She smiles with the patience of someone who knows the ending is already written. Beside her drifts Roland, a man stitched together by scars and survival, swinging his sword more out of habit than hope. Their world runs on blood and broken promises. Agents in gray uniforms march into containment rooms, armed with shaky faith and half-truths, to bargain with living tragedies, abnormalities that sing, sob, and scream. Beyond the walls, the city sprawls like a wounded beast, carved up by syndicates and cold-blooded corporations where life is a contract and death a forgotten clause. Here, survival isn't a triumph, it's a whispered agreement with the dark, sealed by the cruel humor of the place. Lost your mind? Congratulations, you fit right in. And lurking deeper are those who broke long ago, villains who wear madness like armor. The Red Mist, once a hero, now a merciless butcher. Gebura, a champion of rage whose blade speaks louder than her words. Carmen, the ghostly architect behind it all, whose dream to save humanity twisted into a tragedy without end. They aren't obstacles, they are warnings, reminders that in this world, hope has teeth and it bites. In Project Moon, you don't conquer the darkness, you inherit it. Mad Max. In the world of Mad Max, the earth is a graveyard, and the only thing louder than the wind is the roar of engines. Cities are dust. Empires have fallen. Now, survival belongs to those who can outrun death across endless deserts of bone and rust. Once, Max Rockatansky had a life, a family, a badge, something to believe in. But the wasteland strips a man down to the scars he carries. Now, Max is a drifter, chased by ghosts and hunted by the living, gripping the wheel like it's the only thing left that's real. The sand isn't empty. It's alive with predators on spiked rigs, howling cultists who worship speed and blood, and tyrants who rule with gasoline and fear. Every chase is a war. Every breath is stolen. Out here, hope is a mirage, and loyalty gets you buried shallow. There's no comfort, no rest, only the next brutal mile. Maybe you escape the raiders today, only to face a sandstorm that peels the flesh from your bones tomorrow. Out here, you don't fight for victory. You fight because stopping means dying slower. Mad Max isn't about saving the world. It's about surviving the wreckage. And sometimes, for a flicker of a second, it's about remembering the man you used to be, before the wasteland claimed the rest. Netflix One Piece. One Piece on Netflix isn't just a pirate adventure, it's a brutal fight for freedom across oceans that devour the weak. The Grand Line is a living nightmare. Islands drift like ghosts, storms howl without warning, and every wave could hide a monster or a tyrant. At the center of the chaos sails Monkey D. Luffy, a boy whose body stretches like rubber after eating the cursed gum gum fruit. He can't swim anymore, but he doesn't need to. His fists stretch across battlefields, smashing anyone standing between him and his dream to find the One Piece and become king of the pirates. By his side, Roronoa Zoro cuts through enemies with 3 swords at once, chasing a vow he made at a child's grave. His blades aren't just weapons, they're promises sharpened by pain. Nami, the thief-turned-navigator, once served a brutal fishman pirate just to save her village. Now she bends the weather itself with a staff, conjuring lightning and storms against her enemies. Usopp spins tall tales bigger than the sea, but behind every story is a sniper who never misses when it matters most. Sanji, the cook who fights with brutal kicks, dreams of finding the All Blue, a sea where every fish gathers. Starved once, beaten once, he now fights to protect the hungry and the broken. But villains rule these waters. Arlong crushes towns under his heel. Buggy the Clown splits his body apart mid-battle, laughing through blood. Captain Kuro slaughters behind polite smiles. Don Krieg drowns Mercy with armies of iron and gunpowder. Here, dreams are hunted. Every island is a trap, and the only way to survive is to fight harder than the sea can drag you down. Outlast. Outlast isn't survival. It's a descent into something ancient and hungry. Mount Massive Asylum was supposed to be a place of healing. Instead, the Murkoff Corporation turned it into a lab for Project Walrider, a secret experiment to harness human nightmares. Patients became test subjects. Sanity rotted. Something unspeakable was unleashed. You are Miles Upshur, a journalist chasing whispers of corruption. Armed with nothing but a camera, you step into a place abandoned by reason. The halls weep blood, lights flicker like dying hope, and the inmates, once people, now stalk the ruins, hollowed out by pain and rage. Among them is Chris Walker, a former soldier twisted into a hulking monster by Murkoff's experiments. There's also Father Martin, a mad priest who believes the horror is divine. Shadows hide more than men. Something supernatural hunts in the dark. You can't fight. You can't reason. All you can do is run, hide, and pray your battery holds out. Every breath feels stolen, every door slammed in terror. Murkoff didn't just create monsters, they created a curse. And now, you're trapped in it. Comment more dark universes for the next part.